According to former presidential candidate Isko Moreno Dumagoso,
mga kababayan, ang pinakaimportanteng ekonomiya ay ang ekonomiya ng sikmura. Sikmura, pagkain sa bawat pamilyang Pilipino dahil itong pandemyang ito ay nagbukas sa ating kaisipan na hindi tayo pwedeng umasa na lamang sa mga imported products na kaya namang i-produce ng ating mangingisda, maghahayop at nagtatanim nating mga kababayan sa sektor ng agrikultura.
food security in the Philippines has been a long-standing issue, with rice hoarding being a significant contributor to the problem. The country is vulnerable to natural disasters which can disrupt rice production and distribution, and hoarders take advantage of these vulnerabilities to manipulate prices. So, ano nga ba ang definition ng food security and ano ba yung tinatawag na pillars at existing models na nakapaloob dito?
According to Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, global food security entails freedom from hunger and entitlement to food that meets dietary needs, free from adverse substances, culturally acceptable in a large enough quantities, physically and economically accessible, and with sustainable supply for present and future generations. There are 4 pillars of global food security: food availability, food accessibility, food utilization, food stability.
Food availability. The food availability component deals with the supply side of food security and anticipates the importation or production of adequate amounts of high-quality food from domestic agriculture. The availability of sufficient resources for people to obtain the right foods for a healthy diet is referred to as food accessibility. We must consider the following. Land productivity, which means agricultural land is being used to efficiently grow crops and raise animals for meat or animal byproducts. Number 2, budget, which means that a community should be able to afford the cost of producing food. This does not only apply to the cost of ingredients, but also ready-made meals in households and in dining establishments. 3. Environment, which includes the climate and weather of the area where food is being produced and consumed, as well as the domestic market where it is being sold. Number 4. Population, which is not only question of is there enough food, but a question of is there enough food of the right kind of food, since there are dietary requirements or food preferences for people at different stages in life. And number 5, culture, which mostly pertain to the self-imposed limitation that people place on their diets. Some identify as vegan or vegetarian, so plenty of plant-based alternatives to meat must be made available. Muslims must first certify food as halal, while Jewish must certify food as kosher.
Food accessibility. It considers whether households or individuals have the funds to purchase the right amount of high-quality food. As such, it takes into account their income, expenses, and purchasing power. We must consider the following: physical accessibility, or the extent to which people need to travel just to acquire food, the amount of money they have that they are willing to spend on food, and the environmental conditions which can affect their ability to go out and get food. Economic accessibility, which is affected by the prices of food and the income of the consumers. In the Philippines alone, at least 18.8 million Filipinos were considered as severely food insecure in 2017 to 2019. This means they spent a day or days without eating because of a lack of resources to afford food.
Food utilization. One of the 3 components of food security is food utilization. In order to achieve a state of nutritional well-being when all physiological demands are satisfied, it is described as the human body's capacity to absorb and digest food with the help of an appropriate diet, clean water, proper sanitation, and medical attention. We must consider the following. Number 1, hygiene and sanitation, especially in industrial scale food preparation, such as in factories or kitchens of dining establishments. For this reason, the government agency responsible for regulation and monitoring must be very hands-on and strict with prescribed standards. Number 2, preparation and production, which includes how well trained the people involved in the process are, and how safely the ingredients and the finished products are stored. Number 3, family consumption patterns, which is affected by the size of the family, the age group of its members, and the cultural background of the family. For example, immigrant families still tend to eat the same cuisine from their country of origin. Number 4, advertising and marketing, which should not only aim to sell the product but to transparently inform its potential buyers of the nutritional information, allergens, suggested retail price, and other important factors that could influence their decision to purchase the food product.
Food stability. Continual availability of food across time is referred as a food stability. Food security and this idea are related since food security is regarded as a population level indicator of the ability to food. Therefore, in order to secure food stability, technical and human resources are required to accomplish food security. We must consider the following. The legal obligation to the upload of the human right to adequate food, which all governments and individuals should strive to provide and themselves and others. Discrimination, particularly others, women, children, refugees, indigenous people with disabilities, the elderly, and racial minorities. While discrimination encompasses more than just access to commodities such as food, it is a key issue that needs to be prioritized since barring people access to food is a violation of their basic human right to adequate food. Progressive action, which very individual is capable of the core to do its very good system of production, distribution, and monitoring can collapse when no one is serving to maintain and update them.
So what are the 6 existing models of food security? Number 1, aid-based rations. This is a short-term solution that is typically carried out when an environmental calamity, pandemic, or armed conflict cuts off regular supply of food in an area. Number 2, self-sufficient. Households are encouraged to plant their own fruits, vegetables, and herbs, often using seeds and seedlings provided by the local government. Number 3, farm to table. Restaurants use ingredients from local farms, unlike traditional restaurants which import from other parts of the country or from other countries.
The fourth one is localized market. This kind of market isn't available at the center of cities or towns, but in tiny communities where the ingredients are marketed adapted to the circumstances and easily accessible resources available in the nearby community. The fifth one is globalized market. Here are the locations where it is permissible to sell foods or ingredients that are not native to the region. The duty-free retail store, which offers goods from other nations with little to no tax, is one example of this. Still, pricing of regional goods like rice could sharp decline brought on by a substantial quantity of foreign products that are brought in from abroad. And the last one is technology-based. In countries such as Germany, Japan, and the US, alternative methods of farming have been tested, such as vertical farming, in which plants are made to grow along the sides of buildings, not with soil but with hydroponics.
The importance of global food security is in access to quality. Nutritious food is fundamental to human existence. Secure access to food can produce a wide-ranging positive impacts including economic growth, job creation, and poverty reduction. Despite technological advances that have modernized the conditions of productions and the distributions of food, millions of people worldwide continue to be at risk of health and well-being due to hunger and malnutrition. An estimated of 35,000 people worldwide suffer from hunger every day, and access to food is still often seen as privilege rather than a fundamental human rights. Malnutrition affects an even greater number of individuals, primarily women, children, and elderly. Kaya't palaksin pa natin ang agrikultura upang makapagpakain ng bawat pamilya.
Ngayon, magpapalaro naman tayo. So, ito ang ating first question. The first question is, according to Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, freedom from hunger and entitlement of the food and needs free from adverse substances, culturally acceptable in a large enough quantity, physically and economically accessibility with the sustainable of supply for present and future generation. Go!
Diba? Hindi mo alam.
Haba talaga. Nahirapan din ako basahin. Sino na? Okay. 5 seconds. 5.
Global food security?
Perfect!
That's 20 pesos. Okay, next for
dito tayo.
50 pesos naman.
Yes, for 50 pesos, ito ang susunod na question. Under the food accessibility, it affects by the prices of food and the income of the consumers. Okay.
Ang bilis.
Oo.
Ano yan si economic stability?
Tama!
Sabot! Ang bilis niya talaga. 50 pesos. Yes, for 100 pesos.
Yes, this is the final. Under the food accessibility, it affects by the prices of food and income of the consumers. Ano ito?
Economic stability.
Perfect! Panalo siya!
Ito.
Ayan! Oo, naka 100. Magkano siya?
Ay, sa'yo.
Okay.
145.
So much.
So ayan mga ka-TM,
Thank you so much.
maraming salamat sa inyong panonood and hope you guys enjoy our vlog.
So again, I am your Barbie JJ Ruiz.
And I am your goddess, y'all of y'all.
Thank you. Bye.